Hi, this is Liz Lewis from A Dose of Healthy Distraction. I am back with another book review. This time, FSB sent me a book called The Book of Mistakes by Skip Prichard. I'm going to say Prichard. I don't think it's Prichard. I think it's Prichard. And when I first got this book, I was reading all the people that have reviewed it before, like Michael Hyatt, Ken Blanchard, Stephen Covey, highly effective people. That's Stephen Covey. When I first was looking at this, I thought, it's going to be inspirational, but it's going to be about business, right? Like being successful in business and in life. And I was kind of like, okay. But it sounded really good. I had a hunch that it was going to be good. So I read it. The Book of Mistakes, 9 Secrets to Creating a Successful Future. First of all, it wasn't set up in the way that you would think a career or motivational, inspirational book would be set up. It was told as a story, and it sort of flashed back and forth between a young man in present day whose name is David and a young woman like 300 years ago whose name was Arya, and who had just lost her uncle, and she was sort of running from these people that were trying to get all the secrets in the Book of Mistakes, and her uncle had been the keeper of the Book of Mistakes. And so she's sort of running, and it keeps flashing back and forth between this young man who is on sort of everyone's life journey. And basically it's an inspiring tale, but it isn't really about business. It's about living life on your terms. And I think a lot more of us should probably be doing this. Even if I'm a website owner, I own a business. I think more of us should be running our business and starting our families and doing all of these things on our terms instead of living based on the expectations of everybody else around us, our family and our friends and society at large. So the book starts out, telling the story of this young woman. We flash forward to this young man named David, and he basically it's written as a fiction narrative, and it's kind of fascinating how it's done. This young man is sort of, a few years out of college maybe, and he's in a job, and it's a decent job with some growth potential, but he's not very happy, and his boss isn't really nice to him. And as he goes along, he sees a really beautiful girl in a park one day, but he doesn't really manage to connect with her, but he keeps running into these people. It starts out with an older gentleman, and he goes through all of these people, and he learns one by one by one 9 mistakes that most of us are making. And each of the people he meets, they have a copy of the Book of Mistakes, but they always sort of teach him a lesson through doing. He gets to experience things with each of these people, and each of them sits with him and explains. So there are 9 of these, and these apply to life. These apply to business. These apply to ADHD in a lot of ways, which I didn't think that it was going to be relevant to my normal audience, but I think people with ADHD can take a lot from this book. So the first one is working on someone else's dream. And I don't want to give, too much away, but in the book, they always list, examples of working on someone else's dream or each of these mistakes. So this one, like one of these, it says working on someone else's dreams is mistake 1. Design your life to fulfill your purpose. A clear purpose attracts people, ideas, and resources to its cause. So if you're just working, as a small piece in a larger machine, you're working towards someone else's purpose, not your own, basically. Not that you should go out and quit your job, but know what your purpose is and know the difference between a job and your purpose in life. Because I think a lot of us get really focused on the job, the career, the now, and not like the larger purpose. Mistake number 2 is allowing someone else to define your value. And we all do this. ADHD or not, we all let other people define our value. So basically, don't let other people put limitations on you, right? So if you have a diagnosis like ADHD, that doesn't have to be a limitation, right? Don't let other people make decisions about what you're capable of. You are capable of whatever you want to do in work and in life. Mistake number 3 is accepting excuses from yourself and possibly others. People not going anywhere will encourage you to make excuses, right? So people that aren't going anywhere will actually help you make more excuses not to change your life. They will help you come up with more excuses to be afraid. And I found that this is true. This is true in my life, and I come up with my own excuses, right? Guard your inner voice like you would your most precious treasure. So that inner voice gives us a lot of excuses. Okay. Seriously. Like I said, this book is not about business. It's about life and purpose, finding your purpose. Mistake number 4, surrounding yourself with the wrong people. Replace naysayers, doubters, and energy drainers with encouragers, winners, and motivators. Toxic people are often more dangerous and create more damage than we realize. I'm not saying you need to just get rid of everyone in your life, but I do think that boundaries are important. And I talk about boundaries a lot for my audience. And I mean, in general, for our mental health, for our growth as a person, there need to be proper boundaries in our lives. And you need to be very picky about the people that are in your inner circle. Okay, I'm going to tell you mistake number 5. Here is mistake number 5. Here we go. Staying in your comfort zone. Leaders consistently push beyond what's comfortable to stretch to new limits of achievement. So it's really easy to stay comfortable. I can give you lots of examples in my life of times when I took no action because it was comfortable. Because I was comfortable, nothing was pushing me to take action. And growth really happens, when we start to push to the edge of our comfort zone, right? I've heard that. Isn't there an expression like growth happens at the end of your comfort zone or something like that? That is mistake 5. Mistake 6 is allowing temporary setbacks to become permanent failures. Your thoughts control your destiny. So, if your current circumstance is one of failure, I recently had sort of a project launch that I considered to be a failure, but that launch was a failure. That wasn't an indication that, that's a permanent condition. Failure isn't a permanent condition in our lives. So when you have a failure at work, or you drop the ball on a project, or maybe in your personal life, a relationship that you had really hoped would go all the way, it didn't work out. That is not a permanent situation. So failure is not permanent. Setbacks are part of life. Mistake number 7 is trying to blend in instead of trying to stand out. And I think a lot of us do this. It is fear-based. It is easier to not be noticed. It is easier for me to go to a conference every year and not raise my hand and not ask questions. It is easier for me not to walk up to people and tell them what I do, right? But that's blending in and not standing out. And standing out is as simple and consistent as outperforming expectations. Great leaders resist the pool of normal. Resist the pool of normal. I'm not normal. I have never claimed to be normal. Mistake number 8, thinking that there is a fixed and limited amount of success available. There's no limit to your potential. Be motivated, not intimidated by another's success. So just because, Joe Blow is super successful doesn't mean you can't be either. The universe, there's infinite amounts of success. There's infinite amounts of money out there. You aren't really in competition with anyone because it's available to everyone. But it's only some of us who are willing to go out and do the work to get it. And that's what he's talking about in this book. It's not just about money. It's about how you define success. And there's no limit. There's no limit to success as you define it. Doesn't matter if somebody else has already achieved something that you think is more. There's no limit to it. Mistake number 9, believing you have all the time in the world. Successful people have a sense of urgency, and I believe 100%. I tend to work at things with a sense of urgency. I don't know why, but that's just how I am wired. And I think that sometimes when we're really comfortable, we don't have any urgency anymore. So I think this is a really big and important thing, and I think this book is great for people with ADHD, people that are feeling a little stuck in their lives, on the path of personal growth. I think even if you're having, you're at a sort of a crossroads in your career, I think it's great for that. Besides the nine mistakes in this book, there are, what do they call them? The main character, David, and the original character, whose name was Arya, there are beliefs, like 3 laws. I'm sorry. There are 3 laws that are sort of peppered through this book. And I'm not going to read it to you, mostly because I feel like you should read the book. It's a quick read. It's really not. How many pages are in this? 168 pages. There's an epilogue. 171 pages. The story moves fast enough that you can read it, but you can still get a lot from it. There are also great, if you're a journaler, if you're a meditator, there are great like things in here for you to journal on and think about and meditate on. Overall, I think this is a fantastic book. And when I saw that Skip Prichard wrote it, I was like, oh, this guy's like a CEO and he's like super successful. And oh, I'm not going to have anything in common. This is very relatable. This is not, written from up here, like in a way that you're not going to understand. I think it's great. I think anyone could read it at 171 pages. Anyone can read it, get a little inspiration, and then keep it in your library. I know Marie Kondo says to get rid of your books, whatever. Keep it in your library because I think there will be times in your life when this will be impactful for you. That's all I'm going to say about that. Again, it's called The Book of Mistakes by Skip Prichard. I think it's great. I think it's worth a read. I don't know when it'll be out in paperback. This one is a hard copy. Great book. Well worth your money. Great thought-provoking reading. And I think this is his first book. And I think he did a pretty good job of making it, it's labeled a self-help book, but it's almost written like a fiction, like a novel. It goes in that direction. So I think you're going to like it. Give it a try. It's worth it.